Welcome to the Nuclear Power Institute series of Science in the Kitchen, Cooking Up Curiosity. Delivered by our NPI team members, we explore the science, production, automation, distribution, and workforce behind the Texas food industry, using the kitchen and cooking as alternative platforms to convey STEM knowledge and information. Each cooking episode peppers science factoids throughout the demonstration, and each in the field episode unearths the STEM before food enters the kitchen. So, the next time you're in some type of field or in some sort of kitchen, we hope we've cooked up your curiosity to discover the science while you're there.
Hello everybody, how you guys all doing out there? This is Migdalia Lopez, and I'm going to teach you today how to make capirotada. Now, capirotada comes in all different forms. I'm going to show you the way I make it, okay? And then you can vary it however you want to make it. Capirotada is a Mexican bread pudding, and usually you eat it during Lent, but I eat it all year round because I like it. So whenever I feel like it, I make some. And in Lent, you cannot eat meat, and so as a result, the Mexicans decided to make capirotada to give it more protein so that the people, can substitute it instead of the meat. Now, to make capirotada, I always try to do things ahead of time. Capirotada takes time, but at the end is well worth the time that you put in. So I'm going to show you, I get bread. I get this type of bread, sandwich bread. So I told you mine's a little bit different because a lot of other people use bolillos and they cut it up. But my sister-in-law, when I was taught, she taught me this way, and so that's the way I make capirotada. So I get bread, a thin sliced bread, and what I do is I toast it. So the toasting, depending on the size that you're going to make, takes a while. So like last night, I toasted it in the oven, and I just put it at 325, and I put it for 15 minutes. And then I would come and I would put a timer so I wouldn't forget, I wouldn't have burnt bread. And I would then come and I would turn it around. And then I put it for another 15 minutes. And that way I have the bread already made. And you put butter on top of it. Okay, you put butter on top of it. Then the other thing that you need to prepare ahead of time is your liquid, your syrup, which is the water. And then you put in cinnamon sticks, and you put in piloncillo. Now, if you don't have piloncillo, which is really Mexican brown sugar compressed, you put brown sugar, okay? And you put it in a pot like the one that I have here, and you boil it. And you put it at medium, I put it at medium, and when it boils, I let it boil for a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and then I just turn it off. And then you drain it and you take out the cinnamon sticks, okay? You take those out so that, you don't want to have cinnamon sticks when you're eating, but you want the flavor of cinnamon. So that's what you do. So the piloncillo, which, like I told you, is brown sugar and the cinnamon sticks. And in the recipe that we were looking at, said 1 stick. I said, forget it. We put the whole little, bag, because we want to have the flavor of cinnamon. And then what you need to do is you need to prepare some people like it plain without the fruit. I like it with the fruit. So I make it with the fruit. And I cut up the fruit. Here are some bananas and I slice them. Here are some apples, and I like to take off the peeling, okay? And then I use this little instrument, which is really good. And I'm going to do it right here because my counter's clean. And you put it down. Woo! And then you have your slices. And then those slices I cut up and I cut up. Then this, what I do is, in the sink, I put, and you'll see in a minute, I put the apple peels, I put the bananas, I put it there and I use it for compost. So, because one of the things about capirotada is a mixture of everything, okay? It's whatever you have, you throw in there. And so sometimes people will say, oh my God, that looks like capirotada. And you're looking at something yourself. Basically what you're saying is all these colors are put together and, they don't make sense. Or I went to that house and it looks like capirotada. In other words, they have all sorts of furniture and doesn't all make sense or anything. They just put something through something together. So that's what, when you use the word capirotada in a non-cooking sense, that's what it means, okay? Now, I like to set myself up in order. And I start with the bread because that's the first thing that you put in. And in my family, they love capirotada. So I can't make a little pan. I have to make a big pan. And let me tell you, it goes in one day. I've had the family over for breakfast, more like a breakfast brunch. And I make one and it is gone by the time I'm finished. And if there's a little bit left, somebody's always asking me, can I take that so I can take it home to my husband or somebody else? And you know, it works out. So I use a big pan. Okay, so I'm going to show you the pan that I use. And like I told you, I set it up, and if you see what I have, I set it up so that it works. And I set it up the way I was taught. And so the first thing you do is you put in the bread. You put in the bread on the bottom. Okay? And you cover the bread. And the bread is hard, because the Mexicans, they want to use everything. So when capirotada also came about, because day-old bread or 2-3 days, the bread is hard, well, they use it for capirotada, you know? And so they don't waste anything. So I'm sort of going to show you a little bit, if I can, how the bread looks in there, okay? The bread, here, maybe this way, I don't know. Anyway, and I sort of crush the bread a little bit. So I put my hand, I just go like this, and I put it in the middle, and I sort of break it up because you don't want big old pieces of bread. The next thing that goes in capirotada is cheese. Now, people like my sister, I have a sister-in-law, and she's from Matamoros, and she loves the white cheese. I don't. And again, I was taught this way, so this is the way I'm used to it. So on top of each slice of bread, I put a slice of cheese. And I get it all done. And I use the cheese because, like I told you, my sister-in-law taught me. Where is it? The cheese that you get, in fact, I got you some just so you could see. They're in slices, okay? And you got to be careful because you got to get what's called processed cheese food, not imitation cheese. Because imitation cheese was, you know, not as nutritious. So you want to have the cheese itself. And so I buy it, and I buy it in slices. Other people buy it in big old chunks, and they just cut it up and they put it in there. But to me, that's more work, and this melts easy, and so I said, I'm going to do what my sister-in-law taught me. And so that's how I've done it. So let me finish putting the cheese on top of each one. And in fact, I need 2 more over here. So I get the cheese like I told you, and I take the foil off of it, and I just put it on. I had those other ones ahead of time so you could see. And like I tell you, you sort of have to have a place where you can throw all your trash and your compost, the stuff that you want to use for compost. Because again, capirotada is a mixture of everything. They don't want to let anything be thrown away. They want to use it. And sometimes you even have to do like half a slice, like here. See, I have half a slice so I can make sure that all the bottom is done. Okay, so after you do that, then I take bananas because I like bananas. Other people don't like it in their capirotada. But I sort of, again, it's like lasagna, you know, you just sort of throw it in there. And so I throw in the bananas. You'll find recipes and there's no bananas in it or anything. But again, remember, capirotada is something that is a mixture of everything. So that's how I do it. Okay? And if you don't like bananas, and you know, you don't have to have bananas, or you know, you don't like apples, just use the bananas. So it doesn't really matter. So then the next thing I'm going to put in there is that I put apples because I like it. Okay? So I've cut it. And so I just dump in the apples, you know, dump in the apples. And let's do like an apple per layer. Because if you think of it, you can think of it like lasagna. You know, lasagna is layered. Well, capirotada is layered. So then I get the nuts. See, and I have them in order so that way I don't forget anything. And I just put it, you know, on top of it. There's no, I never measure it. I just put it in, and that's it, you know. And then I like almonds, and so I use almonds. And I like the ones that are slivered, so I get the little bags, you know. And I just put it in there. And, you know, this is a protein. A lot of the, you know, the meat, that you don't get to eat, which has protein, well, the nuts. And that's different types of nuts. Now, if you like walnuts, you put in walnuts, you know. If you like pecans, you put in pecans, whatever you like. And then I get raisins, okay? And then the next thing that I do is I put raisins, and I just put them all over, you know. I just get handful or 2 handfuls and just put it over, you know. If you like a lot of raisins, well, you add more raisins. If you like less raisins, or you don't like raisins, you just eliminate it, okay? And then one of the things that my sister-in-law taught me is she puts in molasses, okay? And so I put some molasses on there, as you can see that I'm just dripping it all over, that's all, okay? Now, the piloncillo mix, okay, has sugar in it. But sometimes you don't know the consistency of the piloncillo. You know, some of them are real sweet, some of them are not real sweet. And so my sister-in-law taught me, so that you put molasses on it. So then what we're going to do is, we're going to get the water mixture. And remember, you want to either take out all the pieces, like see, here's some pieces of the cinnamon. I just leave it on the bottom is what I do. Then you put some of it on top. Because if you wait to the end, and some people put it at the end, then some of your bread on the bottom may not get moist. And you want it moist. So you want to, you know, every layer you want to put a little bit of the syrup. And let it sit there a little bit, okay? So that is layer number 1. So that's, we have already done it. Now we're going to repeat this. And you can repeat it, I usually, in a pan this size, I would repeat it 3 times. But in a smaller pan, if you don't want to make as much, you know, then 2 layers would be fine. But you want to always end with bread on top with cheese. That's the ending. And then the rest of the syrup. All right, all the layers are done, and we're just at the top. So at the top, I put a layer of bread, cheese, and then I always like to put a little nuts because I like nuts, okay? So I always add a little bit of nuts. And then I've already been, with each layer, adding some of, well, I'm going to say the cinnamon broth, okay? Now, you don't want it to be too much, but you do want it enough so that everything is wet. Now, after you finish this, I have my, because I'm using a big pan, I have my Dutch oven. I put it at 350, so it's already preheated already. I preheated it. And I'm going to put this in there. I'm going to put the lid, and I'm going to leave it there for about 30, maybe 40 minutes. Now, you understand that all we're doing is warming everything up, because there's nothing really raw other than maybe the bananas and the apples. But you don't have to worry, there's no meat or anything like that that you really have to cook. So it's really just warming all of it up. And so then, you know, you just eat it. You put it in a bowl and you eat it whenever you want. And it's always good even cold. So one of the things I'll tell you about capirotada is that it's a very easy recipe and it's very giving. You can add, you can subtract, you can have it and you say, you know what, I want some more nuts in there, or I want more raisins in there, or you know what, I have too much bread, I'm going to have less bread, or I want more bread. Whatever it is that you want, you adjust it to your taste and what you and your family enjoy. But capirotada is a very popular Mexican bread pudding recipe that your whole family will like. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we get to taste the product. We're going to remove the lid and we're going to get some of our capirotada. You can see it. And it's always nice to see it in a pretty bowl, right? I like my capirotada moist, so I add more liquid. If you like it dry, add less. Enjoy your capirotada because I'm going to enjoy mine.